Are you cheating on me? He clapped slowly. Cheating? That's a harsh word. Is it true? Yes. Yes, he said proudly. I am with someone else. And trust me, you can't compare with her. She's young, smart, and not boring. In the beautiful city of Lagos, Daniel and Ifeoma lived in a quiet town where mornings began with the crow of roosters and evenings ended with gossip drifting from one compound to another. Their house sat close to the road, painted once in cream, but now fading under sun and dust. It was small, but it carried stories, some hopeful and many tired. Daniel and Ifeoma had been married for over 3 years, and every day still remained the normal routine they had both gotten used to. Daniel would leave the house every morning with a leather bag that had seen better days. Inside were notebooks filled with plans that never survived reality. He had tried many businesses, more businesses than one could actually number. Phone accessories, frozen food, transport services, even poultry. Each one always began with excitement and ended with silence. Customers promised to come and never returned. Partners smiled and disappeared. Money went out faster than it came in. Most evenings, Daniel returned home slow-footed. He would drop his bag by the door and sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall like it held answers. I tried again today, he would say, his voice low. Why has life decided to be so unfair to me? Why has it chosen to treat me this way? Ifeoma, his loving wife, always listened. She rarely interrupted. She had been with him through thick and thin, even though it was always thin and had never been thick. She would set aside whatever she was doing and sit beside him. What happened this time? She would ask gently. I made the presentation to secure the contract. They said they will call me, he replied once, scoffing. They always say that, and they never get back. She placed her hand over his. One day, someone will call and mean it. Even though, how long, was the next question he would have loved to ask. Ifeoma's words became a routine gift to him. Hope served plain without decoration. Before marriage, Ifeoma had been training as a laboratory scientist. She had met Daniel at a friend's party, handsome, charming, and so well spoken. Somehow they got talking, and even after the party they still kept in touch. Daniel's future looked so promising, and when he asked Ifeoma to be his girlfriend, she didn't hesitate to give him a yes. But since then, with Daniel, it has always been from one problem to another. He had brilliant business ideas, but nothing seemed to be working out. Ifeoma could really see that he was trying. Daniel was never a lazy person. One day, this huge promising deal came up. Daniel was so excited talking about it. And there were investors on ground ready who were talking about the project with him. Finally, it seemed like light was coming. But there was a problem. This deal required lots of capital and Daniel had nothing on him. Ifeoma had watched him struggle for months. This could finally be the breakthrough they had both been praying for, she thought to herself. Seeing how hard Daniel had worked to get himself to this point, she decided to help in the best way she could. After all, what was love without sacrifice? She was in her final year already and was attending a private university. The tuition was huge, and her parents had just sent the money to her. She also added her project money and all her savings. Everything she gave to Daniel. That night, they both cried together in Daniel's little room. She loved me, Daniel. Take this as my support. I can always come back and finish up school later. You've worked so hard to get to this point. You can't let all your hard work go to waste, Ifeoma said, with tears in her eyes as she held Daniel's hands. Daniel couldn't stop his tears too. You would leave school for me? Ifeoma, you would leave school for me? We will get this deal, and I promise. I swear to love you with my life. You won't regret ever doing this for me. The emotion that night was so high as they embraced each other. That was how Ifeoma dropped out of school. Her parents were so mad at her when they found out months later. Her father stopped talking to her. Her siblings said she was crazy. Still, Ifeoma clung to the love of her life. Sadly, that deal still failed, even after all the money that was invested, and they returned back to square one. She would still pick on petty jobs to support Daniel, and when he asked her to marry him, she agreed against her parents' advice. Why have you chosen this life for yourself? Her mother had asked her a night before her wedding. Love is never enough. You can still run. A man who would watch you sacrifice your future for his is not worth it. But Ifeoma was lost in her world of fantasy. Everything anyone had to say to her fell on deaf ears. Everyone was not born rich. I love him, and I know one day he would make it, was the response she gave everyone. 3 years down the line, she still said the same thing. He will make it. But it never looked like Daniel was close to making it. They could barely feed themselves. Sometimes, she asked herself if she had made the wrong decision. Her friends often asked why she stooped so low to marry a man like Daniel. She always smiled and said it was love. Love held me bound. Inside her, all the fruitless sacrifices she had made cut deep. But she never used it as a weapon. She still hoped. She still woke early every day to pray. Sometimes, Daniel pretended to sleep while listening to her whispers. God, don't let him lose faith in himself, she prayed once. Help his hands to find favor. She fasted when there was nothing to fast with. She stretched food so it could last 2 days instead of 1. She learned how to smile even when the pot was almost empty. The town noticed. How would they not, when Daniel was always roaming about with his faded bag? That woman, Ifeoma. She is too patient, the woman said one afternoon, as they waited for water from the borehole. That girl is suffering. She doesn't even need to say it before anyone would notice. Another added, I heard she came from a wealthy family. A beautiful woman like her. See how she's wasting herself on a man that seems to be cursed. The whispers grew louder with time. Some were kind, some cruel. One evening, her childhood friend Ngozi came to visit. They sat outside, the air thick with the smell of fried akara from a nearby store. Ifoma, let me talk to you as a sister, Ngozi said, lowering her voice. How long do you think you can continue like this? Ifoma knew what was coming, so she said nothing. Daniel is trying. Yes, but trying is not enough, Ngozi continued. How could you resign yourself to a life of suffering? You abandoned your family and chose a man who walks from pillar to post like a madman trying to buy a piece of land. He is my husband, Ngozi. Please, you need to listen to me. Look at you, Ngozi cut her short. Men around here are doing so well. Look at Emeka, who owns 3 companies. He's been asking about you ever since he returned from abroad. I didn't even have the effrontery to tell him that you are married, because who would I say you are married to? A piece of garbage? Ifoma sighed. Ngozi, I am not done yet, Ngozi cut in. You don't have children yet. This is the time to think. Love does not feed a person. You deserve comfort too. You need to get back yourself. Ifoma looked at her friend calmly. I married Daniel for better or worse. This is the worst. It won't last forever. Ngozi shook her head. It seems like it's already lasting forever. You are losing yourself. Another day, a distant aunt cornered her at the market. My daughter, the woman began, holding her basket. Marriage is not a prison. If a man cannot provide, you are allowed to go. Ifoma smiled politely. Thank you, ma. I am still standing. Some people she ignored. Some she warned gently. Please, do not talk about my husband like that ever again, she told a neighbor once. Since you can't help us, don't break us. Daniel knew people talked. He felt it in the way greetings changed, in the pity-filled looks. Sometimes it angered him, sometimes it crushed him. One night, after a long day of rejection, he snapped. Yes, maybe they are right, he said suddenly. Maybe you should have married someone better. Someone who can feed you well. Someone who can take care of you. Someone better than me. Ifoma turned from the stove slowly. What has come over you? Don't say that again. He laughed bitterly. Look at your life because of me. I know you would have been better. People are talking. I ruined you. She walked up to him and held his face. My life is not real. It is just under construction. Yes, people are talking. Let them talk. After all, what is the mouth for? We will make it. And when we make it, they will shut up. He said nothing after that. As more months passed, friends stopped calling. The ones who used to drink with him found new circles. Family members advised him in tones that sounded more like blame. Should have stayed in that office job, even if they were paying you a penny, his elder brother once said. Business is not for everyone, and you fail woefully at it. When Daniel stopped attending family meetings, no one asked why. After all, he was a nobody and no one noticed nobodies. Through it all, Ifoma stayed. She helped him draft proposals even when they went nowhere. She followed him to meetings and waited outside. She sold some of her remaining jewelry to support his next idea. She took on petty jobs to sustain the family. She never reminded him of what she gave up. Then, one morning, Daniel's phone rang. He almost ignored it. But then, hello, he said. There was a pause, then his eyes widened. Yes, Yes, this is Daniel Donald, he said, standing up. I sent the proposal, sir. Ifeoma watched him, her heart racing. Yes, I understand. Thank you, sir, thank you. When he dropped the call, he didn't speak for a moment. What is it? She asked, afraid to hope. They want to see me, he whispered. The company in the city, the one with the construction deal. Her hands flew to her mouth. Daniel, they said the contract is big, very big. Ifeoma, they said the contract is big. She hugged him tightly. Husband, God has remembered us. The days that followed felt unreal. Meetings replaced rejections. Emails replaced silence. Then the final call. You got it, the voice said on the other end. Daniel shouted. He laughed, cried. He had sealed a multi-million deal that would wipe away poverty from their lives. When he got home, neighbors gathered. Family members came running, friends returned with wide smiles. This calls for celebration, someone shouted. Ifeoma stood beside him, her eyes shining. We made it, she said softly. He nodded, grinning. Yes, I made it. At first, no one noticed the small shift. Daniel became a totally different man. He got a better apartment, got a car, bought new clothes for himself. He now spoke louder. He began to walk like the ground owed him respect. When people praised him, he nodded proudly. You deserve it, someone said. I really worked hard for years to get here, he always replied. His family now recognized him as part of them. He was no longer the useless fool gallivanting around Lagos. At a family gathering, his uncle raised a glass. To Daniel, the man who never gave up. Daniel smiled. Thank you, uncle. I always knew I would succeed. Ifeoma clapped with everyone else. But something bothered her a bit. Through their newly founded success, Daniel never mentioned her when he talked about how hard they worked and what she had to endure and give up. One night, she said gently, she really did work hard. He nodded proudly. Yes, you can say that again. She waited. He added after a pause, and you too. She also helped your bit. Just a few words of acknowledgement. She smiled anyway. But as the celebrations continued, pride settled in like an uninvited guest, quiet but heavy. Daniel began to speak more of himself and less of the journey. The hunger that once taught him humility felt far away, like a story from another life. Ifeoma watched, still standing by him, hoping the man she believed in would remember the woman who held him up when nothing else did. But she never expected what bigger shift was going to happen in their now perfect lives. Daniel's life changed quietly at first, the way cracks form in a wall before the building finally gives way. After the contracts, the money, and the sudden respect from people who once avoided him, he began to move differently. His shoulders stayed high. His phone never left his hand. Meetings stretched late into the night, or so he said. It was during one of those meetings that he met Vanessa. She walked into his life like she owned the air around her. Tall, beautiful, glowing skin, sharp eyes that always seemed to know what they wanted. Her clothes hugged her body without apology, and her laughter carried confidence. She was the type people noticed even before she spoke. In town, they called women like her slay queens, bold, glamorous, and unafraid to live loudly. They met at an exclusive lounge Daniel had started frequenting. He was there with some business associates, enjoying the way waiters rushed to his table. You know, now that he has made it, he looked more handsome and charming. Vanessa walked past, her perfume lingering long enough to turn heads. Daniel looked twice. "Do you always stare like that?" she asked, stopping beside him with a half smile. He chuckled, unashamed. "Only when something beautiful distracts me." She laughed and sat without invitation. "Then, I must be very distracting." That was how it started. Light words, playful glances, harmless laughter. Or, so Daniel told himself. Vanessa listened to his stories with fascination, especially the ones about his rights. She touched his arm when she laughed. She praised his ambition. "A man like you shouldn't be tied down," she said once, sipping her drink slowly. "You're meant to enjoy life." Daniel smiled, his chest swelling. No one had spoken to him like that before. Soon, the harmless meetings became deliberate. He told Ifeoma he had dinners with investors. Sometimes he didn't even bother explaining. He sent money to Vanessa freely, without thinking twice. He bought her designer bags, expensive shoes, phones, better than the one Ifeoma still used. He never noticed the contrast. Ifeoma still wore her simple clothes. She still cooked his meals and waited up late for him. One night, she asked him softly, "You are coming home late these days. Is everything still okay?" Daniel loosened his tie impatiently. "You worry too much and I hate that. You can see that business is expanding. Do you still expect me to remain your pet dog?" She shook her head. "I just miss you." He sighed. "Please, Ifeoma, I've had a long day. Don't start." That became his answer to most things. Vanessa, on the other hand, got the version of Daniel, who laughed easily and spent recklessly. He took her shopping and watched her pick things without checking prices. He paid for her hair, her nails, and her vacations. "You like it?" he once asked, showing her the keys to a new house. She gasped dramatically. "Daniel, is this for me?" He nodded proudly. "You deserve the best. You are my girl, my favorite girl." The house was one of the finest in town. People noticed. Whispers followed. Daniel began coming home less. When he did, it was past midnight. Sometimes he didn't come home at all for days. Ifeoma waited, her phone beside her, prayers turning into silent tears. Whenever she tried to talk to him, he waved her off. "You're becoming a disturbance and too grumpy. And I hate that so much, you know," he snapped one evening. "Everything is not a problem. I am your wife," she said quietly. "I should be able to talk to you. What is wrong in asking harmless questions?" "About what?" he replied. "Your worries never end." He stopped apologizing, stopped pretending. In his mind, Ifeoma became too dull, predictable, too calm, too simple. He totally forgot everything she had given up for him. "She's old-fashioned," he told Vanessa one night. "Always talking about patience and prayer. I don't even find her attractive anymore." Vanessa laughed. "That's not love. That's poverty mentality." Daniel liked the way Vanessa made him feel young, powerful, and desired. They both attended wild night parties, drank to stupor, and would return home so happy and tired. It was as if Vanessa made Daniel leave. He convinced himself Ifeoma was just tired, adjusting to his busy life. So, the secret ended. He stopped hiding. He arrived events with Vanessa on his arm. They went to parties together, posted pictures, laughed openly. The town watched as he painted the streets red with her presence. Ifeoma heard the rumors before she saw the truth. She ignored them at first. Then, one afternoon, she saw Daniel drive past with Vanessa beside him, her head resting on his shoulder, her world tilted. That evening, she waited. When Daniel came home, humming lightly, she stood in the living room. "We need to talk," she said. He looked annoyed. "About what?" "I saw you today," she said, her voice trembling. "Who is that woman?" He laughed. "So, you finally opened your eyes." "Daniel," she whispered, "are you cheating on me?" He clapped slowly. "Cheating? That's a harsh word." "Is it true?" she asked. Yes, he said proudly. "I am with someone else. And trust me, you can't compare with her. She's young, smart, and not boring." The words hit her like a slap. I stood by you when..." He cut her off. "Spare me the sacrifice speech. I didn't force you to do any of those. You did them all on your own." "You are my husband," she cried. "You said you will love me forever. How could you do this to me, to us?" He brushed past her. "Move." She reached for him. "Please. You need to talk to me. Let's talk." He shoved her aside and headed upstairs. "I'm tired of your drama." Days later, Daniel had Vanessa moved into the house because she said she loved a big house. He didn't even ask, talk less of informing Ifeoma, and declared that Vanessa would be staying in the master's bedroom with him and that Ifeoma should go to the boys' quarter. Ifeoma refused. "She's staying," he said, "and you need to get used to it." From that day, Ifeoma's place in the house vanished. The worst part of it was that she felt so ashamed to talk to anyone about what was going on. Her friends would mock her, and her family would say, "We warned you." So she swallowed shame and embraced the only position left for her. Ifeoma became a house help in her own husband's house. Yet, nothing she ever did pleased them. Meals were criticized. Her presence irritated him. Vanessa insulted and mocked her openly. "So, this is the famous wife," Vanessa said once, looking her up and down. What a poor taste you had, Daniel. Poverty can really make people marry things." Ifeoma said nothing, but the pain grew unbearable. One evening, after another hot insult from Vanessa, Ifeoma confronted Daniel again. "You can't do this to me," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You can't bring in some slut here to insult me and turn me into a maid. Remember where we started. I abandoned everything, including my family, and everyone for your sake. I trusted you, Daniel." A very resounding slap was what followed next. The sound echoed through the room and vibrated in her eardrums. "You bitch! How dare you call my lover a slut? Look at you. Pig! Did I ask you to be foolish? To give up everything? So, wait, as big as I am, you expect me to take you around and let people see you with me? Me, Daniel Donald. And when people ask, who is she? They would say it's his wife. The gods forbid it. You are only fit to be a housewife. Cook and clean. That's what you are good for. Now, get out, he said coldly. You've always been my bad luck. She stared at him in disbelief. After everything. You're unworthy of me now, he continued. Look at yourself. Must I be the one to say it? You are not appealing at all. I'm tired of harboring a monkey. Vanessa came in and laughed. She had been listening. Look, woman, nobody asked you to sacrifice anything. Don't cry over spilled milk. Accept defeat. You've lost him. That was the end. At this point, Ifeoma knew she shouldn't wait until she was told to leave. It was over. So, she left with nothing but her clothes and shattered memories. Vanessa took over Daniel's life fully. She controlled his calls, his movements, his decisions. Her wish was his command, and everything she says made perfect sense to him. Your family envies you, she told him one day. They will cast an evil eye on your success. They only come close because you've made it. Remember what you said they did to you when you had nothing. Daniel believed her. Cut them off, she insisted. You have me and that's enough. I am the only person who wants the best for you. He did as she said and stopped caring about his family. Next, she cajoled him into risky investments and deals. It's go big or go broke, she said one evening. You are meant for more, Daniel, and I want your name to be on the billboards. You will take over Lagos and I will be your little witch. She laughed excitedly whenever he agreed, her eyes lighting up with satisfaction. Daniel was totally blinded by love, that he couldn't think straight. He thought he had found true love. He thought Vanessa cared more than Ifeoma ever did, as she indulged him to live recklessly and lavishly. And while he drowned in indulgence and false affection, he never noticed how the ground beneath him was slowly giving way again, just like before. Within 1 year, Daniel's life began to crack in ways he could not explain. At first, it was small things, numbers that didn't add up, calls that went unanswered, promises that dissolved into excuses. Money came in, but it left faster. Investments he had entered with confidence began to bleed quietly. One morning, he stared at his account balance for a long time, blinking as if the figures would correct themselves. This must be an error, he muttered. He called his manager. The man sounded tense. Sir, the real estate deal stalled. Government approvals didn't come through. Okay, so what about the foreign exchange investments? Daniel asked sharply. There was a sudden market shift. We lost heavily. Daniel hung up, sweat forming on his forehead. He told himself it was temporary. Vanessa said big men took risk. Losses were part of the game. But then the losses multiplied. He began to wake up at night, his heart racing, his sheets soaked with sweat. In his dreams, he would be running through empty streets, calling names that never answered. Sometimes he saw Ifeoma's face, calm and distant, turning away from him. Other nights, he saw money slipping through his fingers like sand. During the day, paranoia crept in. He locked doors twice. He checked behind him before entering the rooms. Every phone call felt like bad news waiting to happen. One evening, he sat across from Vanessa in the living room, his face pale. Most of the investments are not doing well, he said carefully. We may need to slow down. Vanessa raised an eyebrow. Slow down how? Maybe pull out of some deals, reduce spending for now. Her eyes hardened. Wait, Daniel, let me get this straight. Are you blaming me right now? I didn't say that, he replied quickly. I'm just saying. She stood up. Please, don't start what you started with your ex-wife. Look at me. I don't tolerate rubbish and won't take that from you. Daniel swallowed. I am under pressure. Pressure, she scoffed. And who and what is putting you under pressure? She wanted a big life. Big life comes with big risk. He said no more. Vanessa didn't even care at all. As many months passed, everything continued falling apart. Investors pulled out and even refused to take his calls. Creditors was dragging him left and right. His health began to fail soon. It started with headaches that refused to go away, then dizziness. He began to lose weight. His appetite disappeared. Doctors advised rest, but his mind never rested. Weeks later, he collapsed in his office. When he woke up, he was in bed at home, weak, his limbs heavy. Vanessa sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling through her phone. Can you help me up, please? He whispered. I need to get to the bathroom. Vanessa sighed loudly. Daniel, can you not see I'm busy? He struggled, his body shaking. He fell back on the bed, breathless. Please, he begged. She stood eventually, but her face showed annoyance, not concern. She didn't wait long enough for him. He peed on himself that day, and she took a long cane and flogged him mercilessly. You think I'm your maid? You will learn how not to do rubbish around me, she screamed at him. After that incident, she totally stopped pretending. There was no need anymore. Days passed, with him lying in the same clothes. Sometimes she didn't bring food until evening. When he asked for help, she waved him off. Figure it out, she said. I am not your nurse, and it's not my fault that you can't afford one anymore. As for her, she still dressed well. She still went out. Laughter floated into the house as she answered long calls, while Daniel lay helpless, staring at the ceiling. Soon, he caught a stroke and couldn't walk. A wheelchair appeared, not out of care but convenience. And then, one morning, she wheeled him into the living room. We are moving, she announced. Moving to where? He asked weakly. This place is too expensive for you, Mr. Daniel, she said casually. I sold it. I needed the money to do something for myself. He stared at her in shock. You sold my house. She smiled. You transferred it to me, remember? Daniel knew at that point that he was totally finished. The new place was small, damp, and smelled of neglect, worse than where he had lived before success ever found him. Vanessa dropped him there like unwanted baggage. One afternoon, hunger twisted his stomach painfully. He hadn't eaten since the day before. Using all his strength, he pushed his wheelchair towards the bedroom. Vanessa, he called, please, I'm hungry. Can you find us something? As he approached the door, he heard her voice on the phone. It worked perfectly, she said, laughing. He's finished. I mean, if you see him now, you won't recognize him again. He is completely ruined. Daniel froze. It worked perfectly, she said, laughing. I told you. Yes, Daniel Donald is a living corpse now. She laughed again, loud and free. His heart pounded. His hands trembled on the wheels. When she stepped out, she saw him. Her face showed no shock, only disgust. You heard? She asked flatly. Who are you? Daniel whispered. She laughed mockingly. So, now the mister finally woke up to reality. She leaned against the wall, folding her arms. I was sent. Sent? He croaked. By Linda, she said. The woman you destroyed. It seems that's your hobby, using and dumping women. The name hit him like thunder. She got her pregnant, Vanessa continued calmly. After you promised her heaven and earth, and she gave you everything she had. Then you forced her to get rid of it. She almost died and lost her womb in the process. But what did you do? She walked away without ever caring about her. Daniel shook. I didn't know. She knew, Vanessa snapped. She lived with that pain. So she paid you back with your own coin. She smiled proudly. I never loved you. Everything was planned. The room spun. So, my business, my money, all gone because of your choices, she said. I only guided you, Mr. Daniels. She turned to leave. I think my assignment is over. We are done here. Let me see how you get back on your feet. That day, Vanessa disappeared with everything. Daniel was left alone, struck by disbelief and regrets. Life became a slow punishment. He depended on distant relatives now. Years later, whispers reached him about Ifeoma. She's doing very well, someone said. Finished school, big position, living fine. A family member helped him find her. When he failed to get her address after various searches for more than a year around the town. Then he went to see her. When she opened the door, she stared at him blankly, unable to recognize the haggard man on the wheelchair before her. Ifeoma, he said weakly. She gasped softly. Daniel? He couldn't recognize the woman before him. Beauty and confidence radiated from her. Peace. And she looked entirely different, like a woman far from his side of the earth. I have searched everywhere for you, he said. I regret everything. She nodded gently. I forgave you a long time ago. You don't need to ask for forgiveness. Look at you. You're successful, he said. Independent, beautiful, and above my league, obviously. She smiled politely. Please, he whispered. Accept me back. I have learned my lessons. She sighed. A man appeared behind her. Love. She turned. James. Daniel, my ex-husband. Daniel, this is James, my husband. Daniel's heart shattered. There is nothing between us anymore, she said calmly. James? The famous James Okaya was married to his Ifeoma, Daniel whispered as tears gathered in his eyes. James looked at Daniel. Such a pathetic man. You are living the fruit of your past. Look, I don't ever want to see you in my compound again. The door closed, leaving Daniel in bewilderment. He had lost everything, money, marriage, dignity. He learned too late that loyalty cannot be replaced by lust, and pride truly comes before downfall. Peace never returned, and the life he once had, even before wealth, was gone forever. Daniel sat in the wheelchair long after the door closed. The sound of its shutting did not echo, it didn't slam. It simply ended something. For the first time in a long while, there was silence. Not the silence of poverty or sickness or fear, but the silence of finality. He lowered his head slowly. He had imagined this moment many times. He thought Ifeoma would cry. He thought she would shout. He thought she would remind him of all she had sacrificed. Her school, her youth, her family, her dreams. But she had done none of that. And that hurt him more than any insult ever could. Inside the house, Ifeoma leaned gently against the doors, not because she was weak, but because emotions, even healed ones, still had weight. James turned to her. "Are you okay, love?" She nodded. "I am." And for the first time in her life, the words came without effort. She walked back into the living room, her steps calm, her breathing steady. There was no storm inside her chest. Daniel had once been the center of her prayers. Now, he was only a memory. She remembered the girl she used to be, kneeling on cold floors, fasting on empty stomach, stretching hope thinner than it should ever go. She remembered the woman who swallowed pain and called it love, who stayed silent and called it loyalty. That woman felt distant now, not because she despised her, but because she had outgrown her. Ifeoma no longer loved Daniel. She had finally found herself. She had returned to school, finished strong, built a life with her own hands and the support of her family, learned that love should never demand self-erasure as proof. James did not rescue her, he met her standing, and that was the difference. Outside, Daniel wheeled himself slowly away, his back bent under the weight of understanding that came too late. He had lost a woman who loved him when he had nothing, and discovered too late that such love does not return once it is broken. Some losses are not punishments, they are lessons, and some doors do not close loudly, they close quietly, when the woman behind them has healed enough to walk away without looking back. Hey besties, we've come to the end of our story and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. I would love you to share your thoughts in the comments section. And if you love our stories but you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do not skip this video without hitting on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever we post new stories. Thank you so much for all your love and support. They mean so much to me. Right now, I'll have to go and see you in our next story. Bye!
Gather round the fire, children, and all. Come hear a tale that's yet to be told. Epic tales by Mara's voice, of tricksters, queens, and lovers' joy, where trees can talk and spirits roam.